Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my devlog. If you, I guess, I don't know, watch the first one. This is just like a weird little series that I do where I just kind of show some cool stuff that I'm working on, whether it's noodling with my software or, I don't know, just trying to explore something. It's kind of uncut and, you know, you get the idea. So we're looking at After Effects today. I wanted to share real quick this sort of like custom UI panel thing that I made a little while ago that just kind of has some like really super basic functions, and I'll show you all how you can install it on your own machine if you really want to, or you know, something like that. So let's talk about what all these little buttons do really quick. Again, these are just like really basic functions that I find really useful and use regularly. So I just to, you know, look, 1% changes, speed shit up, not have to worry about like, you know, writing out all these expressions all the time, all that kind of stuff. So first one, I'm gonna be totally upfront about this. I went to Max a couple weeks ago, and I saw that that they were actually demoing this very function. It's gonna become native to After Effects. It might be in the beta actually by the time you watch this. I don't know, you know, so keep an eye out for that. But essentially, like, we've all been here before. You want to have a text box that kind of, you know, scales with your text. And it requires a bunch of expressions and stuff like that to kind of make that happen. Again, by the time you watch this video, this little button might not even be useful anymore. It could be right natively in After Effects. Why it's taking so long to get there, I don't really know. But regardless, there is a button here to make that happen. And if you want to adjust kind of like your margins of your box, you totally can. You can even change the color of it. Where's my fill color? Oh, properties. You know, you get it. You get the idea. So that's the first button that's there. The text with box. The other one this is something that I frequently do is auto centering an anchor point. We all know there is a hotkey. Well, I guess we don't all know, but if you don't know, there is a hotkey if you hit Option Command Home on your keyboard. Oops, maybe not. I'm sorry, Control Command. There we go. It'll center it up for you. So again, Option Command on your keyboard, Home, centers that up. And that's really, that's cool. That works, but it doesn't like anchor the anchor point to the center. It just sort of moves it to the center of the object. But we want it so that no matter what we do, like if we have it there and this was, you know, 2 lines of text here, you'll notice the anchor point's no longer in the center. You'd have to hit that command again. Also, my letting is like insane here. What if we want that to stay there the entire time, no matter what happens? If you click this button, auto center anchor point, boop, it adds in a really nice expression. Oops, A on the keyboard, you can see it here. That ensures no matter what you do, you always maintain sort of that anchor point in the center. Works really well in text. It also works with like other things, like if you had like a shape layer or something, and you know, again, you can see the anchor points by the L here on hello. If you went through, again, Option Command Home, that's what I'm hitting on my keyboard. There you go. Now it's in the center, and you can, you know, move around. The cool thing too about this expression that I really like is, there we go. Use the button. Sorry, did not use it that time. I used the hotkey. The cool thing about this expression that I really like is you can change up these parameters, and it'll actually move the anchor point to a different location. So 1 and 1 obviously puts it at the bottom right corner, as you see right there. So if we change that over here on the text, you know, actually let's just hit the 1 so it stays centered there. Now if we were to like type something out, it keeps that anchor point over on the side there. So that's a really handy kind of expression. Again, it applies with this little button here, auto center anchor point. Then the next one that I have is a button, and this is like everyone's, like I feel like every motion designer's favorite thing, is a keyframe overshoot. Let's add some keyframes here really quick. Let's just do like a scale on the text. Actually, no, let's not do scale. Let's do a position. Just so we move the box with it, because the box not only does it scale with the text, it also follows it. Cool, so it flies in, but like feels very lifeless. If you hit this overshoot button, it adds a null to your project. it'll add another null. I try to set this up so that all of the like controls end up on null, so they're easy to sort of apply. But now you kind of have this little bounce effect that's really easy to manipulate this overshoot. So if you were to like change the slider like 1 and let's jack this up to 8. Now you kind of got this like slow sort of kind of like, you know, fall into position there. Overshoot, again, all these buttons do are they basically create like controls on sliders, and then they just add in, hit U on your keyboard. You can see they add in these expressions. These expressions all come from different places. I'll cover that in a second. Once I show you guys where you can kind of like get this sort of this panel from and how to install it. Credit all my sources and stuff so you can dig in a little deeper and figure out, you know, I don't know if you see something that you really want. And then finally, like if we go to scale here, it's this wiggle loop. I'm sure we all know the wiggle expression. It's like every motion designer's first expression is wiggle. It's really easy to use. If you were to hit, you know, option on your keyboard to drop down your expression area and you type in wiggle. Here it is. You did like 2,2 or something. Excuse me, I had a little bit of a hiccup there. Yeah, let's lose that position. Really lose position keyframes real fast. Okay, so of course, maybe we should make it a little more aggressive so we can actually see it. 200. Cool. All right, so it's got this like really weird kind of jitter. Wiggles are great. They do all sorts of cool stuff. If you have something that's like, you know, not as like lame as that, you have something a little more aggressive. Everybody knows that wiggles don't like to. Oh, look, it's time for me to go to work. Everybody knows that wiggles don't really loop very well. You can kind of see it kind of jumps there and snaps back into that. So always bothers me. I always really wanted to be able to like loop my wiggles. So if you click wiggle loop, give you a little alert that says it ran. I don't know why. For some reason, that's the only one that I did that with. The other ones I did not put an alert on. Maybe I'll take that off. It'll add another null here with some controls for frequency, ampage, and time. So you set your time to the length of your your composition here, and it'll actually create kind of a loop. I was going to have it just kind of auto detect like what the length of the active comp is. But I realized that, like, what if you wanted to loop at the 2-second mark? You can now adjust that. You can say like 2, you know, and on the every 2 seconds is when it kind of will loop. So you can adjust your time there. You can set your frequency that you want it to kind of animate on. If you want to like speed it up, you can set your amp if you want to like, you know, you can lower that number there so that it's not like as aggressive, I guess, or maybe make it like really high, like 300. It's craziness, you know, I don't know. So so that's what they all do, and then there's a little info button that kind of helps explain what things do. So if you like this and you want to use it and you're like, wow, this is really cool, this will make my life a lot easier, even though like Adobe's gonna probably come out with a bunch of these anyway, that always seems to happen. I'll spend time like making something, and then like the next update comes and it's like in the software, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I spent all that time trying to solve a problem. But if you want to use this, you totally can. It's in my GitHub. So if you let me call GitHub up over here. If you go to my GitHub, there's a repo called Hot Buttons. It's kind of what I'm calling this. There's instructions on how to install it, and there's a bunch of other neat stuff. And if you go into the scripts here, you'll notice like I credited all my sources. So Maxwell Ridgway here, a YouTuber that does like After Effects motion design kind of stuff. That's where I found some of these expressions here, and then just, you know, built out the buttons and stuff around that. Let's see, what are some of the other ones? Overshoot comes from motion scripts. Again, it's this guy here, but I created some. If you're familiar with this expression at all, you'll know like the frequency and decay are numbers usually. I altered it a little bit so that it connects to a null so that you can adjust it a little easier. And then like the wiggle loop, I'm pretty sure ChatGPT made this. I don't really remember. So yeah, so a bunch of cool stuff there. You can go in, you can grab these things from my GitHub. You can just follow the instructions on installation. It'll tell you how to do it for both Windows and Mac. And that's about it. I hope you guys find this useful. and give me a subscribe. I don't know if you like the devlog or something. Let me know in the comments. If you think this was useless, let me know in the comments so that I know, so I don't keep like, you know, making them. And thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and see y'all later.